Marcus B. Brown here with another episode of Channel 13. And I don't have a guest today, but I want to talk to you a little bit about a subject that's running through my mind called One Hell of a Miracle.
13, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13.
A lot of us, we need miracles, or we would like to see a miracle. And but we don't get these miracles. We're often told that it's because of our lack of faith. Now, the Bible didn't say that Jesus could not do a miracle in his hometown. It said he didn't do many miracles in his hometown because of their unbelief. Now, I do believe that unbelief can cause you not to experience miracles. And I do believe that having faith in God can cause you to also experience miracles. But I've recently come to a revelation in my understanding that our faith is not necessary for some miracles or for God to do something mighty. And I want to encourage people today to believe in this God that I'm going to talk about. Well, we'll start here. I'm a very practical person, and I'm sure many people like me are very practical. And what I mean by being practical, I believe in if I can do it, or if I'm supposed to do it, I should do it. And then if God has to do it, then God is going to do it. I often tell a story about this guy. He said he had a great farm, and this guy said, man, you got this awesome farm. You got all this beautiful crops and these fat animals, and this place it just looked amazing. And the guy said, yeah. He said, God really blessed you, man. The guy said, yeah, but you should have seen it before when God had it by himself. And that is how my mind really thinks a lot of times, and I'm sure a lot of you think like that. And what that sounds like, some people are scared to think like that. Because some people think God is supposed to do everything, and some people believe that they're supposed to do everything. But I'm like many of you. I often thought that I'll do my part, and then I'll let God do his part. So it's more like this right here. I'll call on God, and I may need a miracle, but I don't even think about miracles. I don't think about the supernatural. I don't think about God coming in and doing something for me when I can do it myself. It's almost like I'll try and do my best. And when I can't do it anymore, I'll be like, okay, God, now you try. It's like I got to the end of me. Now you try. I'm changing in that way of thinking. What I want to happen is I don't want to call God only when I get to the end of mine, because I want to seek him first. It'll be amazing if I say, well, God, hey, you go first. Do what you get. Do whatever you want to do, God. And then, or tell me what I should do, and I'll do it. And I come to that understanding because many times, we work on things that are so limiting, that they're so limiting that we don't know. We're going to only believe God for the things that we can do. And then when we can't do them, now we want God to come in and fix our mess. That's not what that should be like. And so then I know these miracles are not based off just your faith alone, because if they were, what if you only have a little bitty faith to do a certain thing? And so that means you only get a little bit of miracle. So, but I found out that God can do miracles without our faith. You say, how is that possible? Well, God, there was nobody here to have faith when God did a miracle in creating the world. God was able to do that without us. Now people say, yeah, but that was in the beginning. Now God has to have our permission to do these miracles. And we have to have all of this faith. So look at what is Jesus' first miracle? Jesus' first miracle, he turned water into wine. Nobody had faith for that. Jesus said they ran out of wine, and But people say, well, yeah. But they told him to do whatever he told you to do. And they went and got those vessels. They filled them, they turned them wine. So it took a level of faith because they were obedient, took some faith. I said, okay. You can say it took a little faith for that. But then he had other miracles. Jesus walked on water. Nobody said, we hope we got faith that Jesus can walk on water. Nobody said that. But people will always back up and say, yeah, but Peter had faith. And he said, Jesus, if you bid me to come, I'll walk. And Peter walked a little bit on water. Peter had faith. So we always talk about faith. But it's one miracle in this Bible. It's a couple of others. But it's one type of miracle in this Bible that would dispel about what God's ability to do miraculous things just based on our faith. Lazarus, he had died. Lazarus died, and Jesus got there what they considered to be late, and they said, Jesus, we thank you for coming, but my brother, he already dead. Lazarus already dead. He said, nah, but if you had been here, my brother would not have died. And Jesus told him, I am the resurrection. He said, we're going to see him again in the resurrection. No, Jesus said, no, I am the resurrection. Nobody had enough faith. That was not faith that he was going to do that. Jesus did that. That's a miracle that Jesus did. Raised Lazarus when everybody had lost all hope. People didn't have enough faith to do that. Also, Jesus died on the cross and he went into hell and he spoiled hell and he raised again. They didn't even believe it was Jesus. They talk about Thomas. He doubted Thomas and he stuck his hands in his holes, in his hands, in his side so he can prove that Jesus is Jesus. He told them that he was going to have to die. And Peter, he said, no, you're not, we ain't going to let that happen to you. And he said, get thee behind me, Satan. They didn't want to hear that. You know how hard that is to believe. You know when you at a funeral, somebody died, and people talking about say that God is, we're going to see him again in heaven. We're going to see him again in the resurrection. We say stuff like that. And most of us, we're familiar with hearing that. But I want to do that really sink in our minds and our hearts that we really believe that. Because I know if that person in that casket was to just get up in the middle of the funeral, that'll probably clear the whole place out. Everybody be running and they'll be leaving. But here's what I'm trying to say. Jesus came to this earth. He died for people like me. I was the worst child my mama had. I stayed in trouble. I was just like you, and some of you don't believe in God because you think you got to be so good before God will do something for you. See, this miracle that Jesus did, that death, that burial, that resurrection, man, it didn't take our faith. He didn't do that because we believed. He did that because he wanted to reconcile man back to him. He died for me. And before I ever believed in it, before I knew who he was, man, that is one hell of a miracle. He went to hell and he spoiled hell. He took the punishment that I should take. He took the punishment that you should take. That's one hell of a miracle. Oh, we should trust and we should believe in that kind of a God. I want God to step in and have his way and do whatever he wants to do for me, in me, with me, through me, to me, because I think he knows better than I know. And that's the kind of God you want to serve. You want to serve a God that can do one hell of a miracle, something beyond what you're able to believe, something beyond what you're able to ask, something beyond what you're able to think. Because we were lost. I was lost. And if it was left up to me, I didn't have enough faith for God to send a Jesus and to die and go to hell and be resurrected for me. I didn't have enough faith to do that. And neither did anybody else. That's what it's our privilege to believe on him that he already done that. You'd be a fool not to want to serve a God that's that awesome, that'll do that for you. It wasn't based off of how strong your faith was. If you're going to have faith, now my faith is in what he's already done. My faith is in what he's already done, not in what I want him to do. I'll tell you this last story, then I'll be done. Then I'll be done. I remember when my family, my kids were young, we were younger, and we was going through some real tough times. I mean, things were hard. I didn't have a job, and we were struggling. God always took care of my family, though, by the way. Always did. But I remember a guy came knocked on my door. I knew the guy. I met him once or twice. And matter of fact, I didn't even like him. He didn't really like me. We didn't hit it off. And he didn't know what our situation was. I don't even know how he knew where I lived at that time. But he knocked on my door. And I was so depressed and I was going through so much that I didn't know how to believe God for much. I just about to accept the fact that I was just going to be, in this poor situation for my life. And this guy knocked on my door and he told me, and I was sitting, I was quiet, I was depressed. And he said, God told me to take you grocery shopping for your family. Blew me away. I did not even, this guy didn't know we didn't have any food, but we never missed a meal. We didn't have any food. I didn't have any money. He said, God told me to come and take you grocery shopping. I wasn't on welfare, wasn't on food stamps and nothing. He said, God told me to come and take you grocery shopping. And I got up, I was quiet. I just got up and I went to the grocery store with him. He told me I had a certain limit and I was just getting stuff. I was quiet, I was just getting the stuff. And then he told me, now get some more. He went beyond that limit. I've seen God do this in my life in other times. And I don't know how I could let myself get to a place where I want to be. I'm going to be so practical. I'm going to do my part. And when I'm trying to open the jar and I'm trying my best, I'm trying hard. And I can open. So I say, here, God, you open it. Or the way I am now, the way I want to be now, the way you should be, we should take that bottle to God first. God, I need this open. So you can do it. You able to do it. You physically able to do it. Yeah, God. But what if I wasn't even in my right mind knowing I need to open this bottle? God, I need you to open it. Now, if God told me, will you open it? Then I say, yes, sir. Because what if you are not in your right mind to know to even know that you have to, or you need to open this bottle or this jar? You want this God to do one hell of a miracle for you. And I know people don't like me to use words like hell, but he went to hell for us. Spoiled hell, got up, all key. He got the keys to hell, to life, to death. Jesus rose for us. He did it before we even knew what to do. Like they say, he was through with it before we knew what to do with it. So it's many people that may be listening don't even know that they need God to open the jar of their life. They don't know what's waiting on them in tomorrow. They don't know what's waiting in the future. So we don't want to wait till we know and we can believe. We want God to do one hell of a miracle for us right now. I want God to do a miracle for you that's listening. I want, even if you can't believe for it, I want God to do something for you in your life. Like I told you, I was the worst child my mama had. I stayed in trouble my whole life. Who knew that I would be sitting here talking to somebody about a Jesus when I looked like the devil's first son? We all are not capable to believe God for as much as we need. The Bible said like this. He said that one reason they should pray in the spirit is because we don't know what we ought to pray for. And the Holy Ghost will help us. That's what we need God to do. We need the God to help us, not only in our unbelief, but we need God to help us in our ignorance. We need God to help us in the areas where we don't understand. We don't even know that we're ignorant in. So God, we believe in right now We believe in God. We're believing you right now, God, for I'm believing for myself. I'm believing for my family. I'm believing for people that are listening right now. And I'm believing it. But for those that don't believe it, those that don't know how to believe it, God, I want you to do one hell of a miracle right now for all of those people that's listening, for my family, for my friends, for my Facebook friends, for my YouTube followers, for my TikTok listeners. I want you to do one hell of a miracle. And not only do I want you to do that, God, we want it to be so miraculous and so knowing that it's not man, that we'll know that it's you. We will know that it's you. And then once we know that it's you, we can ask ourselves, why wouldn't we want to serve a God like that? I'm Marcus V. Brown, and I just wanted to stop by today and tell you about a God that can do miracles that we don't even have faith or understanding enough to believe for. I want you to go out, live your best life. This has been another episode of Channel 13, and I'll see you next time. I'm Marcus V. Brown, and I'm out of here. God bless you.
My name is Marcus, man. Don't forget the V.